Update. Am I the a-hole for agreeing to an open relationship, then sleeping with someone else? Original post. My girlfriend 24 female and I 23 male have been going through a tough time lately, and things finally boiled over in the past few days. We've been together for 3 years and things were going well for the most part. We rarely fought, and even when we did, we'd cool down and talk it out soon after. But about 2 weeks ago, my girlfriend asked if I'd be open to the idea of an open relationship. I was completely shocked at first and even thought she might be joking. She said she loves me and wants to stay together, but before we get more serious, she wants to gain more experience. I'm her first serious partner and she's been with 2 other guys before me. I told her I wasn't comfortable with it and turned down the idea. She kept pushing, but eventually backed off when she realized I wasn't going to change my mind, and I thought that was the end of it. However, a few days later, she brought it up again, this time more aggressively, and said we might need to take a break if I couldn't agree to try opening up the relationship for a few months. I felt cornered because it was either take a break or agree to this. So I eventually gave in and said we could try an open relationship. 2 days later, last Friday, I came home from work and saw her dressed up. I asked what she was getting ready for, and she said she was going out to the bar with her friends and wouldn't be back until the next day. I immediately realized what this meant and asked if she'd rather stay in with me instead. She said she really wanted to go out, so she left, and I was left at home alone, drinking and watching TV. Feeling sad, I called one of my close friends, 23 female, and told her about the situation. After talking for a while, I asked if she wanted to come over and drink with me, since I was feeling pretty down. She came over and we hung out, drinking and talking about the open relationship and how upset I was. My friend suggested that if my girlfriend was basically cheating on me, I might as well enjoy the perks of an open relationship too. You can probably guess what happened next, and I won't go into details, but it made me feel a lot better. The next morning, I woke up to my girlfriend freaking out, asking what the heck my friend and I were doing in our bed. I told her what happened, and she got mad. She said she didn't even do anything the night before, and ended up crashing at her friend's house. Now she wants to close the relationship again, and says I need to prove my loyalty for cheating on her. We never set any rules or boundaries, so I don't really see how I did anything wrong. So am I the a-hole for participating in the open relationship that my girlfriend suggested? Now for the top comments before reading the update. This relationship isn't equal. Just break it off. She had big expectations of her ability to pull men and wanted to get it out of her system. You didn't have to even try, so she's angry. Not the a-hole, but don't pretend this is salvageable. Yeah, I'm accepting the fact that there's no coming back from this. Not the a-hole. Your girlfriend already had her eyes on someone, and that's why she pushed for the open relationship as aggressively as she did. I call BS that she didn't do anything with anyone the night before. She got some action from someone who just wanted to get laid and was now going back to her safe boyfriend. She just wasn't expecting you to also have options. I'm visualizing this. You waking up half hungover with sleep in your eyes, she's yelling, and you saying, "What's wrong? Was this against the rules? I didn't know you wouldn't want us doing things in our bed. This is classic." My friend and I were just being drunk and reckless. Lol. I really didn't even consider she would be mad at what I was doing because it's exactly what we agreed to. You are the dude. Your relationship is probably over, but you really gave her a taste of her medicine. I salute you. I did what had to be done. This relationship is cooked though. Not the a-hole. Dump the girlfriend and date the friend. Update 2 months later. A lot of people were asking how the whole situation played out, so I wanted to give an update. It's been an incredibly hectic month, but things have started to settle down and I'm ready to share what happened. First off, my girlfriend and I officially broke up a few days after my original post. It wasn't pretty. She kept calling me a cheater and telling me what a POS I was for cheating on her. I put up with it for a few days while I tried to figure out what to do, but eventually I snapped. I should have kept my cool, but I told her, "You're genuinely the stupidest person I've ever met for thinking an open relationship would work out. It's your fault everything blew up." I explained that I played by her rules, and it wasn't my fault that I found someone to hook up with faster than she did. She claimed she didn't want to cheat on me. She just wanted to explore, and that I should have understood. We argued in circles for a while until I finally told her to get out of my apartment. I'm the one who pays rent and has my name on the lease. I had to threaten to call the cops before she realized I was serious. Of course, she broke down crying, saying she had nowhere to go and that she loved me and wanted to make things work. But I stood firm and told her to leave. Once she was gone, I immediately felt better and realized that the relationship had been terrible for me. The next day, I called up my friend, the one I slept with in the original post, and asked if she wanted to come over, drink, and play some games. She said yes, and of course we ended up hooking up again. My ex came by the following day to pick up the rest of her stuff, and let me tell you, she was not happy to see my friend there. She didn't start anything, but it was obvious by her behavior that she was seething. After that, my friend and I started talking more, and eventually I asked her out. She said yes, and we've been together for about a month now. To say this relationship is healthier would be an understatement. We've been friends for a long time, and I think we both always had a bit of a thing for each other, but we never acted on it until my ex basically handed us the perfect opportunity. We have a lot more in common, and we communicate so much better. So far, this relationship has been amazing. Thank you all for the advice on a previous post. I really appreciate it. Not the a-hole. She was clearly not on the same page about the open relationship and tried to manipulate you with accusations and guilt trips. You held your ground, and it sounds like you ended up in a much better situation. Yeah, I'm a lot happier now. I'm confused about what your ex thought being in an open relationship meant. She goes out and have her fun, while OP stays at home and wait for her. Not the a-hole. I guess your ex thought that she would be the only one sleeping with other people, but it did not go according to plan. But as soon as someone brings up opening the relationship, it's already over. But here is something to watch out for. Your ex will now try to make you look like the bad guy. Don't let her control the narrative, and talk to your friends, her parents, your parents, everyone that you both know, why you broke up. Don't expect your ex to just accept this. She will try to destroy you if she can't have you. My friends never really liked her, so they didn't believe her anyway. And my current girlfriend is part of my friend group. And my friends have told us that they always knew we'd end up together, based on how well we got along and how much we have in common. Next story. Am I the a-hole for ending my engagement because of his demands about our prenup? I, female 37, recently received a lump sum for a career project that turned into a full-blown company. I entered into an agreement with another company that's been reselling my services through out-licensing and long-term corporate partnerships. When I signed the paperwork, I felt I had a chance to build a solid financial future while keeping my personal life intact. Unfortunately, that hasn't been the case, and now I'm seriously considering breaking off my engagement. My fiancé Sean, male 43, and I have been together for 4 years. I met him when I was in the final stages of building my business, which has been the driving force in my life. Between that and my family, I barely had time for anything else, including dating. But when Sean came along, I was completely swept off my feet. He had a great sense of humor, and I was really attracted to him, both emotionally and physically. Sean is divorced and has average office skills, working for a small government agency. The salary gap between us didn't bother me at first. I was investing most of my money into my business, and my personal priorities, like taking care of my family, were non-negotiable. Sean and I were both struggling financially when we met, and he was briefly on food stamps. But I was happy to be with someone who didn't pressure me to be someone I wasn't, unlike my previous relationship where my ex criticized my appearance and style. We even tried starting a small consulting company together, but it didn't work out. I noticed that Sean wasn't ready to co-manage, and after a long conversation, we mutually decided to drop the idea. When Sean proposed, we had already talked about a prenup. It wasn't a surprise, and even if I had nothing, I saw it as a way to protect us both. I work in a niche market dealing with loss prevention, and I've seen how quickly things can turn legal. However, when we started drafting the prenup, things became tense. Sean shut down during our second meeting with a lawyer, and nothing we had previously agreed on was being followed. He started making more demands and raising the bar on what he wanted. He even hired his own lawyer without telling me, which would have been fine if he had communicated it, but he didn't. Things escalated when he demanded that I give his daughter shares of my company. That was a firm no from me. I started a company long before Sean was in the picture, and I built it to secure a future for my own kids. I will not create a trust fund for his child either, something else he asked for during the prenup discussion. I did agree to help his daughter financially by contributing to her education, paying for health insurance, and giving her an allowance. She's 18 now and has a successful mom who is also contributing, but I offered to help with some of her expenses. However, none of this seemed to be enough for Sean. He kept pushing for more, and I started feeling like nothing I did would ever be good enough. What frustrated me the most was that Sean didn't have a plan for contributing to my children's future. When I asked what he would do for my kids, he was silent. So I asked if my kids' names could go on a deed to a piece of land he owns but hasn't been able to develop. He was shocked and accused me of trying to take away his daughter's inheritance. I was just trying to make him see my perspective, but it only made things worse. Our relationship has deteriorated since then. We used to be able to talk openly, but now every conversation feels sarcastic and bitter. He's called me greedy and accused me of not caring about his daughter. He says I've shown my true colors and claims I've been dishonest about how I feel about his child. His last messages have been especially hurtful, and it's making me question everything. I love his daughter, but I didn't raise her, and she has a mother who is actively supporting her. My kids are still in grade school, and I need to prioritize their future. I'm not opposed to helping all of our children, but I can't be the only one contributing, while Sean makes no efforts for my kids. Now, canceling the engagement seems like the most sensible option. I'm devastated that it's come to this, and I didn't expect our relationship to end this way. My best friend is furious and wants to put him on blast if he keeps up the hurtful comments. Am I the a-hole for prioritizing my kids' future and standing firm on my boundaries? Now for the comments before the mini update. Sounds like his true colors are finally showing, now that it's down to the wire. He tried to strong-arm you into things for his benefit. And when you wouldn't do it his way, threw a fit. Honestly, you dodged a bullet. I have a feeling this has been his game plan all along. You're successful, he's not. You've got money, he doesn't. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Ex-wife is apparently wealthy too. He most likely targets them. Male gold diggers exist too. Ex sounds extremely well off. So why would her daughter even need OP to give her an allowance and help pay for her car? OP shouldn't have offered, but did the right thing, kicking his manipulative gold-digging mooch to the curb. Not a-hole. He's a 43-year-old man with an adult child who has an active mother and father. She shouldn't even be a consideration in your prenup. You owe her nothing. No house, no car, no trust fund, and definitely no shares in your company. She's not your child, and you didn't raise her. For me, your post sounds like you have the love goggles on and haven't been seeing all the red flags for the last 4 years. He's showing you his true colors. If you have stay with him, stay unmarried. This, you're giving his 18-year-old daughter, who has 2 parents, one of whom is well off, an allowance and help paying for a car. And you're going to pay her health insurance and contribute to her college housing and her tuition. And your fiancé is pitching a fit that is not enough? And the way he rolled up with his own lawyer to start making demands on your money? Balls, man. Dude sounds like a grifter. Update. I broke up with him since the whole deal felt like a bitter divorce rather than a step towards married life. Last story. My 36 female fiancé 30 male wants to be added to my mortgage/title of home, but I think he's being unreasonable. Am I the a-hole? My fiancé is really upset that I won't add him to the mortgage or the title of the house I'm buying for us. He's not putting any money down because he has a lot of student loan debt and can't help with any of the home improvements either. I'm older than him and make more than twice what he makes. It's nothing personal. I would never kick him out, but I've worked really hard and made smart financial decisions to get to this point. I'm even taking money out of my retirement savings to use as a down payment. Honestly, I can't even add him to the mortgage because his debt-to-income ratio is way too high. He has more debt than he earns each year. He feels like this means I don't see us as a team. But I've always paid for most things when we go on vacation, like rental cars, hotels, and most of the food. When we lived together, I paid for more rent, groceries, and other things. I'm even paying for our wedding in full. I paid for my own engagement ring because he couldn't afford it. He's planning to pay me back when he gets further along in his career. I know he would pay for things if he could, but I don't feel comfortable putting him on the title or mortgage right now. I just don't think it makes sense. And I also want to protect the investments I've worked so hard for. He's a really good guy, just broke. Has always been, but I know that won't last because he's very motivated and finishing school soon. What do you think? Am I being unreasonable? He was really upset when I told him I wouldn't add him to the mortgage or title. And it would also mess up our interest rate and borrowing options because of all his debt. He keeps saying I don't see us as a team, even though I pay for so much and never complain. I don't lose sleep over it at all. I've always seen us as equals. Not the a-hole. He has no shame. When he starts earning and is debt-free and ready to contribute to the household, you guys can have that discussion then. That's how I feel. Once his debt is reduced and he has a solid income. Correction. Later on, when he can come down with the same down payment you put down, then only if you wish you can add him. However, with what happens nowadays, I wouldn't. What's yours before marriage is yours after the marriage. You worked really hard and were smart with your money. Don't put your future at risk when you don't have to. Also, prenup. Him insisting on this matter is a red flag, and I wouldn't consider going ahead with the marriage. Maybe I should look into prenup more. Not the a-hole. It wouldn't be a sound decision to add him for all the reasons you stated. When his career takes off and he gets his DTI under control and can contribute to the costs of the mortgage and maintenance, then it would be reasonable to consider refinancing under both your names and adding him to the deed. In the meantime, if you don't have a will, you could have one drafted where if you pass during the marriage, he will inherit the home via probate. It gives him a measure of security while still protecting your interests and assets. This is great advice. Thank you. I will share these ideas with him. Part of being a team is contributing financially as well as in other ways. It sounds like financially he will only be paying off his debt initially. Until he starts contributing financially to your team, keep finances separate, including the house. Update. My 24 male girlfriend, 23 female, just broke up with me because of her work friends. Original post. I have been with my girlfriend Kate exclusively for 5 years, but on and off for 2 years before. A lot of my first happened with her. We went to each other's prom/school dances and supported each other through tough times. I know Kate is out of my league, and I did all I could to make her feel safe and secure. I'm in love with her and wanted a future with her. I went off to college and got a double major while Kate went into cosmetology school. We were planning to move in with each other in a few months and talked about marriage and children. But for the last couple months, she kept making comments like, "My coworkers keep asking why I'm with you. Coworker thinks that you're not in my league. My coworkers want me to hang out with them and meet new people." Every time I would ask Kate what she thought, she always said that she loves me and ignores the comments. Tell them to stop. But her coworkers just kept saying these comments. We always had open communication, talked things out. We haven't had any major issues. We argue over little things such as movies and TV/anime shows, food, etc., and we don't hide anything. These comments started when she got the job at that salon. She works with all women. She did not cheat or anything. No emotional affairs, no hiding locations, no secret social media. Then the other night we had a nice date, had a good after date. But when I dropped her off at her place, she commented that she was having doubts about our relationship and wanted to break up. I was super confused and didn't say anything, just slowly walked away. I know it was because of her coworkers, the comments they were making and pushing her to leave me. She said so in a message. Then less than 4 hours later, she started calling me and texting me saying she was sorry, didn't mean it, that she loves me and that she was stupid for what she said, / listening to her new friends. that she was going to quit and find a different job and stop talking to her friends/coworkers. I have not responded to any of them. I'm conflicted. I love her. I have a ring being made for her, even money saved for a house for both of us. We share 85% of our friend groups, then the rest are from our jobs, and most of our shared friends have now heard about a breakup and seem just as confused as I am. From some of the messages I have received, it looks like she told them the truth, that her coworker started to give her insecurities about our relationship, and she stupidly went with it. Her parents tried to reach out to me asking what happened, as we are very close, but I have been radio silent. Luckily, I can work remotely. I left my apartment yesterday with my laptop and found a nice place with good internet to still do my job. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. She was going to quit and find a different job. Stop talking to her friends/coworkers. This won't work, because no matter where she goes, there will be people there. If she's so easily swayed by random people and listens to them more than the history of her 7-year relationship with you, her changing her location isn't going to help. My coworkers keep asking why I'm with you. Coworker thinks that you're not in my league. My coworkers want me to hang out with them and meet new people. She is attributing this to her coworkers, but she obviously feels the same way, or she wouldn't be mentioning it. I would never repeat that garbage to my partner, ever. What would be the point? It would only make them feel terrible. She feels this way, but is too scared to say it, so she blames it on her coworkers. Could you imagine coming home to her and repeatedly telling her that your coworkers think you're too good for her? Who tells their partner that crap? So unnecessary. She wants to break up with you and has been pussyfooting around it. Now she finally did it, and she regrets it. Not because she still wants to be with you and thinks she made a mistake, but because she's afraid of the unknown. She's been with you so long she doesn't know how to move forward without you. She kept repeating all that hurtful stuff her coworkers were saying, and bringing it up over and over because she was trying it on for size. She was inching closer and closer to breaking up with you, until she finally did it. Let the breakup stand. I know it's painful, but I think it is already over for her, and it's just fear and anxiety keeping her with you at this point. In my experience, you'll have, at most, a tumultuous, hurtful year or two with her, and then it will end badly anyway. Save yourself the time and torture. I reckon she was fishing. She maybe wanted something akin to, "Yeah, you are. Maybe we should go separate ways." But instead, OP handled it like an adult and put the onus back onto her. Ever since, it's been a ticking clock, until the confirmation bias from her coworkers gave her the courage. I expect OP's ex is just what a salesperson would call an easy mark. I imagine it is why she came crawling back after 4 hours. As soon as anyone other than her coworkers got wind of it, the validating circle jerk stopped, and she panicked. I don't necessarily think getting back together would lead to the exact same issue down the line. I suspect friends and family have brought her down a few pegs, but OP and Dex are clearly in very different places in terms of maturity, and that may manifest in equally damaging ways. Given OP is clearly ready for more, I don't think it would be fair or right for him to hang around for an indefinite amount of time for his ex to catch up. If a woman I was dating said to me she might be out of my league, let alone broke up with me for that reason, I'd never even consider a relationship with her anymore. That's so damn disrespectful, and to me, them thinking like that shows they wouldn't deserve me. I know my worth, and so should you. Shifting the blame just makes it worse. Either they are weak, or they wanted to believe said coworkers. Either way, I'd never trust them again. Now for the updates. Quick update. After I posted, my boss sent me an urgent message asking if we could do a Zoom meeting. I accepted. When his image came up, there were 2 cops behind him. Apparently, someone they wouldn't name asked them to do a wellness check on me. They tried my apartment and no one was there. Then my work. I was not there. My boss knew I was actively working remotely and called me. I had to explain I was alright, just had my phone off due to the drama. I'm also supposed to go to her parents' house tonight. Update 2. We did not have a meeting last night. I rescheduled it for tonight, Friday. Life also has a way of kicking you when you are down. As I was going through my missed calls last night, I got a voicemail saying that my ring would be ready to pick up today, Friday. I also want to apologize for spelling and grammar mistakes. I have not been in my right mind the last few days. Thanks for all the feedback. I will probably update tomorrow or Sunday. Update 3. Thanks for the messages and comments. It has been an emotionally draining few days. On Friday, I cleared all my voicemails and texts. I ended up with 61 missed calls, 4 from the police, 14 voicemails, and 417 text messages. I sent a generalized message to those who reached out, stating that I was okay and safe, as well as need time and space while I work out with some personal issues. I picked up the ring since it was already paid for, then put it in the box I made for it, then went to her parents' house. As soon as I pulled up, Kate opened the door and ran out. She had been crying, went to give me a hug. I accepted, but it wasn't how I usually hug. She then tried to kiss me, but I moved my head and backed up. We went in and sat down. We sat for about 10 minutes not saying anything. She started crying and said she was sorry. I just responded with okay. I asked her what she told everyone. She said the truth. I asked her why the cops were called to check on me. She explained that she didn't call them. After our friends found out, they tried reaching out. And after none of them had heard from me in over 24 hours, they decided to call in a wellness check. Kate used the word catatonic to describe me while/after I walked away. Then I took a bunch of the questions you guys posted. I asked her why did you break up with me? She didn't give me a straight answer. Something about people at work constantly talking bad about me and playing on her insecurities. I asked her why she kept letting that happen and not put a stop to it by setting clear boundaries. She said that she tried, and it would work for a day but would go back the next. I asked if she saw value in me as a person or in our relationship. She said that she does in both. I asked why would she break up over something a random stranger said about me. She said she was sorry, and it was a dumb mistake, which I'm paraphrasing. I asked how did they know about me or our relationship, and how much did you/they talked about me. The ladies at the salon overheard Kate talk to some of our friends or customers while she was working about me. Things we did like dates, birthday parties, etc. Did she believe her coworkers were right? She said no. I then followed up with why. She said again she did not know. I asked her if there was someone else. She immediately said no. She's never cheated, nor been tempted to. She offered me her phone, which I declined. I then told her how I felt. That sorry isn't enough. If she wants this relationship, she needs to prove it to me. I didn't care that her coworkers kept talking about us. It's that you listened. It isn't what they said that hurts. It's the fact that you kept listening to it and repeated it back to me. She didn't try hard enough to stop them, and it makes me feel like she had to feel the same way to an extent. That is what hurt and damaged the relationship. That her insecurities are what broke my trust, and I will now always think that this might happen again. She will run off at the next opportunity. She then asked why I just walked away. I told her that at that moment, just 2 sentences broke me and made me rethink my life up to that point and the future I was planning with us together. I was growing and making moves for that future. She started crying harder and I felt bad. The next thing I did, I regret. I asked her if she knew I was going to propose soon. She said no. I pulled out and showed her the box. I made the box as well. It has 2 buttons, one that says yes and one that says no. It has lights that say, "Will you be my life partner?" I set it on the table and pressed yes. The box opened and she started to cry even harder. The ring is both of our birthstones that form the shape of a complemented heart with small diamonds surrounding it, laser engraved initials, and dates of our anniversary. I had it made so that it could be added onto if/when we had kids. Her parents were there, but were more just to make sure things kept civil. Her mom was crying, and her dad looked angry but not at me, and both made comments about the ring/box. I told her that the future I had planned was not going to happen anymore. We need to give each other space, at least 3 months with no communication. We need to take a step back and look at who we are and what we want moving forward. After that, we will see where we are at, but this is on my terms and timeline. I can't return the ring, so I don't know what to do with it. Might end up just give it to her if things don't work out, after 3 months or longer. She said that most of our shared friends told her off and blocked her. Her parents are angry and her little sister hasn't talked to her since the first night. I said I'm sorry, but actions have consequences. I wished her the best, thanked her parents for all they have done to me and hugged them. I knocked on her little sister's door who I have known all of her life, thanked her as well, hugged her and left. I have 4 months in my lease, and I'm thinking of possibly moving when it expires. Tonight I'm hanging out with a good friend, Mr. Johnny Walker, just for tonight. I will get my life going again tomorrow. I don't know if there will be another update or not. This made me so sad. It sounds like you were fully invested in the relationship, but I don't think she was, especially if she was that easily influenced by coworkers. You deserve better. Please take care of yourself. That is what hurts the most at the moment. I feel like 80% of my identity was doing what I could to improve our relationship and our future. I now feel like a bird that is afraid of heights. I feel bad for Opie, but I also don't see a balance. I would suggest a therapist. Waiting 3 months may not be productive. They both need to figure out whether they want to solve their problems or walk away. I'm so sorry this happened to you, but she has a lot of maturing to do if she was going to listen to her friends over you. This would always play into your life. Not even her friends. Colleagues who only know about Opie and the relationship because they overheard Kate talk to some of our friends and customers. She was not ready for marriage. This might be a blessing in disguise. Girl threw away a good one to impress idiots at work who were probably jealous. Shaking my head. Let's not forget she can do so much better than him with her cosmetology degree, because he's beneath her somehow with his double major university degree. Opie's ex is not the sharpest crayon in the box there. Now for the last update. Not sure if anyone will read this, but if things didn't go down the way that they did, I would have asked her to be my wife tonight at midnight. Our first date was on leap day. We would have been married on leap day of next year. Now for the last story. I, 28 male, rejected a woman, 22 female I love because she has an FWB. I'll try and keep this as short and to the point as I can. We met at work last year and became friends pretty much instantly. Started hanging out at lunch, which moved on to us hanging out outside of the workplace. The first time I saw her, I was struck by how beautiful she is. And as time has gone on, her beauty has become the least interesting thing about her, as she is smart, funny, caring, sweet, intriguing, charismatic, honest, genuine, etc. I could keep going on about how amazing she is. A few months into our friendship, I attempted to move it on to something more intimate. I asked her for dinner and drinks. She was grateful for me being honest about my feelings, but explained that she was not looking to date anyone. I was fine with that. Life goes on. I didn't lose my feelings for her, but I did pull back. Admittedly, I did ask her out again a few weeks ago, but she said she was busy on the weekend I asked. Again, fine. Life goes on. Recently, she started showing interest, flirting, complimenting, teasing more than usual, etc. Then today she told me that she had been rethinking things and would like to accept my offer of going on a date if it still wasn't too late. I was over the moon and said yes, but then she said she had to tell me something. She started an FWB relationship with someone about a month ago. She met a guy whilst out with her friends. She went back to his for the night, which turned into a whole weekend. They took each other's numbers and started seeing each other. She explained that she doesn't have feelings for this man, just that he was someone she was having fun with. After she told me about her situation, I said I need to think about things. I'm a traditionalist. When I like someone, I just want that person and no one else. I don't have any interest in seeing anyone else. I spent my time thinking about that person. It's just who I am and how I've always been. My way of thinking perhaps goes against every piece of advice every dating expert on the planet will give, but it's my life, and I live it my way. I don't have anything against people having casual hookups or FWB, but for me, I just don't like the idea of putting in my time, effort, and money just for someone else to reap the rewards with something as simple as a UDTF text. After a bit of thinking, I phoned her and told her I'm not interested in moving our relationship forward. It killed me to hear about her FWB. It killed me more to reject her. Maybe in time they'll stop seeing each other, and me and my friend will move on with each other. But for now, I just don't think I'm ready to accept her situation. And I don't want to present her with an ultimatum. Has anyone else been in a situation like this? How did it feel? Do you regret your decision? Did I do the right thing? Should I have given her an ultimatum? The only thing I was certain of was sticking to my beliefs, even if some might call them immature. Now for the advice. Did I do the right thing? You did the right thing for you, Opie. That's really the only thing that matters, correct? 100%. Every one of us is allowed to have our own personal standards and personal boundaries. Who cares what dating experts say? Who cares what people think about your style? It's totally reasonable for you to not want to date this girl and get to know her, while she goes home at the end of the night to hook up with someone else. That's your decision. You did the right thing. Don't sweat it. 800,000% this. It would be incredibly awkward to go on dates trying to get to know someone, knowing they're sleeping with someone else casually. That would be a huge no for me, than any reasonable person I know. I guess this varies from person to person, but typically having an FWB is highly inappropriate when also dating others in context of leading to a committed boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Though it does seem as though intentions/lifestyles weren't communicated well at all from the very start, and I think that's the most of the issue. You don't even have to consider yourself a traditionalist to be uncomfortable with this. I have never been in a situation like that, but I am here to validate your feelings. Validate, but also point out that I think as long as you don't shame her for her lifestyle and truly just agree to disagree, it was absolutely the right move to break things off and move on. Two different types of people. Am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for my girlfriend's plane ticket after she decided to stay longer on her trip without me? Plus update. Original post. So here's the deal. My 28 male girlfriend, 27 female of 2 years, and I planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for the flights, hotels, everything, because I make more than she does, and I wanted it to be a stress-free trip for both of us. Everything was great. Until the last day when she tells me she wants to stay longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She didn't discuss this with me beforehand, and it completely blindsided me. I was hurt and told her that if she feels she needs time alone, then she should also be independent financially during this extension of her trip. I said I wouldn't be paying for her new return ticket whenever she decides to come back. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish, and some of our friends are saying I'm being an a-hole because I'm leaving her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. So Reddit, am I the a-hole for refusing to pay for her new plane ticket home after she chose to extend her trip without any heads up? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. She can find herself in her own dime. That's reasonable and fair. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish, and some of our friends are saying I'm being an a-hole because I'm leaving her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. You have been supportive and selfish. You didn't complain or become difficult. You respected her decision to stay and find herself. Supportive does not necessarily mean you have to pay for her choices. And no, you didn't strand her in a foreign country without financial help. It was her decision to stay behind. All you did was respect her decision. However, it was not your obligation to fund her decision. She's a grown woman, which means she's responsible for her choices and her financial independence. You invited her on a couple's trip. Well, that couple's trip is over. She decided to stay on her own? That's no longer part of the deal. She has every right to stay behind. She also has the right to pay for that out of her own pocket. Has she been this manipulative before? Red flag. Let's be honest, she could find herself at home, but she chose to stay in Italy. She had a paid-for holiday, and now she's all surprised Pikachu face that won't fund a journey of self-exploration with a side of I need to think about our relationship without you? Yeah, that read, I want to bang Italian guys on your dime. Expect you to finance it because I never told you were just my sugar daddy. Have you pay for my return, and have a fully functional relationship like nothing happened when I return. Not the a-hole. You didn't leave anyone stranded. And why would you be willing to foot the bill for this extension of the vacation that you're not on? Sounds like something the person taking the extended vacation should pay for, surely. I decided to spend some more of your money isn't and shouldn't become acceptable in your relationship. I might be somewhat rough around the edges when it comes to stuff like this, but I've only ever in my life internalized and reacted to messages like, I need to find myself, or we have to take a break to think about the relationship as one thing. And that is, you do what you do, I'm moving on ahead. Don't ever act like you're in a relationship with someone who demands the right to act like they are single. I hope they don't live together. If it was her place, I'd move, take my stuff, and bolt. If it's your place, his, pack up her stuff and put it in a storage building. Change your phone number or block her. Block her on social media. She can find herself without you. Now for the update. Thank you to all the people who responded, especially the early ones who gave some outside verification of me probably not being the a-hole. I don't feel comfortable saying I'm completely blameless here because you're only getting one side of the story and I need to take responsibility for my part in this whole thing such as it is. But I guess I never realized how good my girlfriend was at making me feel like an unreasonable person was normal and rational, and that I was the crazy one. So here's the update. We're both back in America now, and she's packing her stuff to go stay with her family for a bit until she can find a new place. Soon after I posted, it was time to go to the airport, so I did, without her. I'm one of those people who arrives really early because I never think I'll get to the gate in time because everything that could go wrong probably would go wrong. It never does, but especially with how I was feeling my luck was going, I didn't want to push it. I was there for about an hour by myself, mulling things over and talking to my mom. I looked at a couple responses to this post, but I didn't trust that I wouldn't lose it if I started responding, and I definitely didn't want to burst into tears while I was at the airport. As I was talking to my mom, my girlfriend showed up. I guess she thought I was bluffing, but had a rude awakening when the hotel staff kicked her out of the room because I'd only paid through that day. I took no small amount of satisfaction in this, not gonna lie. She'd been so concerned about the plane ticket that she didn't even stop to think about where she was going to stay. As many of you guessed, she met someone while we were in Italy. She was quick to tell me that it was just a physical attraction and that they hadn't done anything, but she had his contacts and was wanting to see if it would go anywhere. I guess that's what I get for not feeling well and wanting to stay in one night while she went out to explore. Obviously, I told her things were over between us. Even though she tried to make it sound like nothing had happened, the fact was A, I couldn't feel like I could trust her when she said that, and B, I don't really want to be with someone who feels like it's okay to still keep her options open when she's been in a monogamous relationship for the past 2 years. The flight home was awkward AF, and she tried really hard to give another pitch for why we should stay together on the drive home from the airport. I think as we got closer to home, reality started setting in, and she realized she'd just thrown a lot away. So yeah, I'm jet-lagged and physically and emotionally exhausted. I'm just kind of numb at this point. Having to sit with your cheating ex on a several-hour flight while they try to convince you how cheating wasn't that bad while you're jet-lagged AF sounds like a circle of hell. Sometimes when people really upset me, I have trouble with impulse control. There's a good chance I would have buzzed the flight attendant and stage whispered, "Can you check if anyone else is willing to trade seats with me?" My girlfriend and I broke up on vacation because she met someone she wanted to hook up with. She wanted me to pay for a new return flight and hotel, which I obviously wasn't going to do. Now she's trying to convince me cheating isn't that bad. Is there any way to help me switch seats? Please? She'd been so concerned about the plane ticket that she didn't even stop to think about where she was going to stay. Nobody can be this dumb, right? Please? Sorry to burst your bubble. If Opie's ex is like some people I know, she would have assumed that of course he would extend a hotel. He'll also come around and pay for her flight. She wouldn't leave someone high and dry like that. She'd probably half expect him to stay longer with her and have a bath ready for her anytime she came back from a D session with Foreign View. And raise her adultery baby. Oh, that plane ride would have been rough. I had an ex break up with me at the destination of a road trip. She seemed to have forgotten I had driven us there. That was an awkward time. I had an ex do that, but she was the one who drove. Spent the entire 4-hour drive making pleasant small talk until we were 30 minutes away from where we were going and she dropped the "we need to talk" on me. But she said we could still be friends, and she didn't see why it had to ruin our trip that I paid for. I had an ex break up with me after picking her up from a summer intensive drama course and still expected that I'd drive her 12 hours to my family home, where we had planned she was going to stay with me for 2 weeks before flying the rest of the way across the country to stay with her aunt. Her own family home was in another country on the other side of the world. I was 21 and in love. Of course I did. I can't say I regret doing so, but I definitely wouldn't again. Last story. Update. My male 28 engagement with my partner female 27 is ruined because of a ring. Original post. My partner and I have been together for 3 years. We both love each other since the very beginning. She has brought up the topic of marriage for a while, and so I decided to propose to her last month in Korea where she grew up. I custom-made a gold ring with a ruby and 3 diamonds in each side, but asked my parents to make it with a regular jeweler's shop they've been going to for a while out of town. I also organized a professional photographer, then asked her to marry me in a traditional Korean village. She said yes, and everything went very smoothly, except that the ring was too big. She stayed a bit longer in Korea while I returned home for work. She went with her mom to a jeweler's shop the following week and asked the ring to be made smaller. The issue started when the shop attendant said the whole ring was fake. The gold, ruby, and the diamonds. I paid $1,500 for the ring. Not a crazy amount, but I thought it was a pretty ring. She went to 4 different shops, and everyone said pretty much the same thing. One shop valued the ring at only $30 to $40. My partner and her mom were understanding at first, saying that we would not have known. But when she came back from Korea, she told me that her parents were very upset about the ring, and that my parents, because they made a ring, only valued her at $30. They refused to meet my parents, which was initially organized for the end of the year. Her mom said to her that it would be better if I admitted about the fake ring, with a view of buying a proper one in the future. These implied that we gave her a fake ring on purpose. My parents were very upset and told me that they won't bless our marriage. Question: is the ring really the problem here? I'm not sure how to move forward now. I never knew a ring can potentially break our 3-year-long relationship. Edit: none of us knew it was fake. A few days ago, I tested it with an X-ray at a pawn shop. The gold is real, not sure about the ruby and diamonds. I've apologized multiple times and showed them the receipt. We are both Asians. Families play a big role in our marriage. Now for the top advice before reading the updates. Your first stop should be to tear down the door of your parents' jeweler. If they really didn't know, then I'd go right to the jeweler. Your parents should have their jewelry checked too. 1.5K is nothing to sniff at either. You can certainly get quality lab diamonds and rubies at that price, especially since those diamonds are quite small. Lab stones are real too, because they're structurally identical to mined ones. Either your parents are very cheap when it comes to money, or your jeweler is a scammer and a thief. Neither option is great. OP, the ring is beautiful, but I would be insulted if my parents bought a fake ring and knew it was fake. I think your parents may not like your partner and they set you up. Looks like I'm not the only one thinking that OP's parents might have purposely bought the fake ring. OP's putting too much trust in his parents, not realizing they could be trying to mess things up between the families and get OP's fiancé dump him. Mini update. Tested a ruby in the lab. It's a natural ruby from Burma. Now for the first update. An update to my previous post where my fiancé's parents are upset and accused my parents of intentionally giving a fake engagement ring. Tested it in the lab, and it's a natural ruby from Burma. They can guarantee the results and can offer insurance letter. They said there is a natural crack in the ruby and natural inclusion. Probably a jewelry expert can shed some light into what this means. Unfortunately, because the ring is now genuine, my parents are more upset about the accusation. On the other hand, my fiancé's parents don't really trust the result. This is a major trust issue. We decided to let things settle before we discuss our intention of staying together and get married. Question: any suggestion on how to approach this situation? Thank you for your update. You've handled the situation well, but if your fiancé still doesn't trust you even after you've shown her proof, it might be worth considering ending the relationship. It's possible that she's being influenced by her parents or trying to use the situation to break up with you by painting you as the bad guy. You need to sit down with her and have a serious conversation. Clearly explain to her that you won't buy her a new ring, and if she can't trust you after you've provided proof that the ring is genuine, then you see no point in continuing the relationship. She and her family should have apologized to you, and she should have defended you to her family. If she is not able to admit her mistakes, she may not be a good partner for you in the future. Your relationship with your future in-laws seems damaged beyond repair, and they might have concocted this story to convince your fiancé to break up with you. Thanks. This hits hard because of how true it is. I'm a bit disappointed that she doesn't have trust in me. We've been together for 3 years and lived together for 2. This comes off as sunk cost fallacy stuff. The time you've been together doesn't make this giant red flag, and the childish antics her family has pulled less valid. If she's not even willing to consider your points, even with expert opinions to back them up, would you trust her to make important life decisions, such as having and raising children, or major career changes which could impact the rest of your lives? Thank you for the update. Well done, you did everything right. And now you know, it's not about the ring. It probably never was. Her family will be impossible to please because they have just decided they don't like you. They will now look for another reason to hate you. So it comes down to just you and your fiancé, as it always should have been. What does she think? Does she understand how you are the victim here? Does she understand how her parents are actively trying to sabotage your relationship with her? Is she prepared to be independent from them, to ignore their advice, to defy them, to take your side, to marry you? Is she on your side? I think allowing her a couple of weeks before having that discussion is a good idea if she's living with you, but a bad idea if she's living with her parents, because her parents are pouring poison into her ears about you. Thank you. She lives with me. We have been living together for 2 years. She said the result doesn't matter anymore. But I do believe it matters. It shows how her family resolves conflicts should it arises. Excellent. But I think you are right to allow everyone to calm down first. You don't have to have that discussion just yet. Oh, I should clarify that the result doesn't matter anymore because she believes it's fake. No matter what tests we do, the jeweler stores in Korea said it was fake, and she believes them. Those were her own words. Now for the final update. 3 weeks ago, we decided to take a month's break. I know taking a break is pretty much a breakup, but I said yes. I asked her today if she has spoken to her parents about the ring and about us in general. To this date, she hasn't. I have been fighting very often with my parents to defend her. My parents also got more upset when they learned she hasn't spoken to her parents at all. I asked her why, and she said at this stage she's very happy being alone because she does not have to worry about our relationship. And so I ended it. I feel like I have been fighting this battle on my own. I have had a few relationships and breakups in the past, but this time it really crushes me. So glad OP checked first with laboratories before going scorching earth with that jewelry. Looks like he got a good deal after all. For $1,500, he managed to dodge a nuclear warhead. Yes, he gave the jewelry store the benefit of the doubt more than his fiancée did him. After reading some of the other comments, I'm like 80-20 on the ex knowing they were lying and either didn't really care about OP to begin with or cared more about her parents' opinions than about her relationship with OP. High chances she's gonna stay single. I don't get it. The gold is real, the stone is real. Did 4 stores try to downplay the value hoping to buy the ring extremely cheap? They never went to 4 stores. OP's ex is lying. Either she's lying that she was there and believes her mother took the ring to 4 different stores, or she's lying about what the store said, or she's lying about how many stores they took it to. Because there is just no way 4 different jewelers pronounced it fake. It's unlikely even one did, but assuming they took it to a shady jeweler who was going to try to scam them out of it, then someone is lying about the other 3 stores all saying the same thing. OP was fortunate to find out now, rather than later, that he was marrying a liar and or marrying into a family of liars. I know it sucks, but ending it now was the best thing he could do for himself.